I've spent most of my life preparing to be visible, not actually letting myself be seen. And I want to talk about it. Because as time goes on, I'm really realizing it was never that I didn't know enough or I didn't know how I want to show up. I said that really weird. The truth is, I was scared to be seen fully, be seen as myself, be seen as the weird, quirky person that I am. And I'm ready to let it all spill out. The longer I stay in this game, the more I realize that discipline was never the issue. The biggest issue for me was not letting being seen turn into this pressure that I've created for myself. The question I keep asking myself is, how does someone who knows she has value to bring, still struggle to show up consistently? All right, let me give you a little background about who I am. I'm a nurse, I'm a health coach, I am now teaching in higher education, I work with students, and I freaking love what I do. I love being a nurse. Didn't always feel that way, but that joy for nursing is definitely coming back. To give you a little bit of context, I came from a competitive athlete background. I ran track and field, shout out to track girls, for maybe 9 or 10 years. I ran competitively and I was competing to hopefully one day go to the Olympics. Did that work out? No. I'm here with you now. But that being said, it was something that taught me so much discipline. It taught me how to show up. It taught me so many things that I feel have propelled my life forward in a way that I never would have been able to if I didn't have a foundation of discipline, delayed gratification, all that stuff. And we'll be talking about that from day to day, okay? Now, I went from that to being a nurse, to working a intense schedule where I was working 3 on, 4 on, 5 off. And it sounds great, but for me, I'm not a girly who can sleep during the day. So not sleeping during the day was tough for me, but I made it work. Then after a few years of working in Canada, I moved to Dubai, and that is where I am now. And I'm going to insert some footage here. I'm living in Dubai. I'm working as a nurse in Dubai. Absolutely love it. I'm traveling. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And then I realized I love patient care, but I don't get the time that I need to spend with my patients. I feel like I'm rushed. I feel like there's so many tasks going on. So that led me into education. I decided, you know what? I would love to take the knowledge I have and impart this with other people, other nurses. So for the past 3 years, I've been working in education. And in education, it's a bit like the corporate world. So I was I went from nursing to being a corporate baddie. And there are pros and cons with that. Don't get me started with that. But honestly, I've learned so much. And in that time, I've realized that I actually really love being a nurse. And aside from being in education, I started coaching. I got my coaching certification, my ICF certification, so International Coaching Federation certification in 2020 during COVID when the world was falling apart. I know. And I got it for myself. I got it to learn, to understand myself, to understand how I was feeling and why I was feeling the way I was feeling and how to navigate those emotions. And then I started doing some work in somatic therapy, understanding the nervous system and how the mind and the body connect to the nervous system. And now I'm obsessed with fascia, but I'm not going to digress to that right now. I realized I wanted to coach. And with coaching, I thought in my mind, the only way to be a coach was to go solopreneur. So I'm that's it, that's all. I'm a girl of action, usually. Follow through to the end, maybe not always, but I'll take a good action, you know? When I decided to start coaching, I went solopreneur. I got coaches. I got courses. I got manuals, books. I'll have to take a picture of my book collection. Some of it's still packed away, but I did it all. And I've spent over $50,000, let me clarify, on self-improvement. And I don't see it as a waste, but it was really hard when it didn't materialize the way I expected it to. And I'm here to tell people, even when things don't work out the way you expect them to, it still works out in some way. And I will make a video on this because I have so much to say on that. But whole journey, I realized that I was chasing perfection. I knew what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, but it didn't feel perfect, it didn't feel right. And I was chasing to have the right person to mold me into where I need to be to show up the way I felt like I should be showing up. I started becoming so serious and performance driven and looking at my analytics and looking at my followers. And that's never been who I am. That's not how I want to create. That's not how I want to show up. That is when I realized I stopped creating from curiosity. I started creating from pressure, and I wasn't having it. What if I stopped creating to be impressive and I just started creating because I wanted to speak honestly? And here we are. But if that's true, why have I been so scared to start? And then that's when it led me to my next question. What happens if I stop waiting? Part of this overconsumption and binge watching and looking at things on Substack and doing all the things that I was doing, I realized that one thing kept coming up for me, this 100-day challenge, 100-day challenge. And I know people do it for weight loss. People do 75 hard. People do so many things. And as a woman who has been trying to enter her soft girl era, moving away, oh my gosh, midriff, moving away from this absolute discipline where no days off, push harder, do it, that I've actually been in for a long time. The thought of doing something for 100 days just didn't feel right. But I had to remember that, you know what? Just because I'm doing it for 100 days doesn't mean I have to show up in my most happy, my most optimistic, my most, showgirl performance. The whole point of doing this is to get comfortable expressing myself and finding my way, feeling the way I'm actually feeling, and being able to express that in a tangible, palpable, valuable way that could actually bring value to others as well. So that's how I got here. 100 days, 100 videos, showing up authentically. Yes, I want to make content, but this journey for me is really about learning how to be comfortable on camera, learning how to express myself, learning how to put words together in a concise way with minimal editing and just showing up. I want to look back at this journey in 100 days and be like, you know what? I did that. I showed up for myself. And that is all I can ask. For years, I just believed I had to show up more polished. I had to be more put together. I had to be more structured. I had to have the right team, the right thumbnail, the right everything. But I'm learning that my real thing is just showing up, learning to trust myself, learning to be real, sharing parts of my luteal phase I'm about to enter right now. I'm doing this. So here it goes, 100 days. Let's see what happens.